So welcome to this week's Optimal Health Clinic Facebook Live. And this week I want to talk about something which came out in a few sessions today, which is a very simple idea, but like a lot of simple ideas, I think can also be really helpful. So one of the tendencies when we're limited in terms of our energy and our capacity is we don't want to let people down. And people ask us to attend things or do things where you feel that you don't have, you kind of, at the time they ask, you feel like you don't have the energy to do it. Like let's say that a friend of yours is getting married, and to attend the wedding you need to go to another country, and you know that the travel and the journey of that is going to be too much. And maybe the wedding's in 3 or 4 months' time, and maybe there's a slim possibility you have a significant upturn in that time. But for where you are at this point, it just feels like you know it's going to be a stretch. And what in your heart, what you want to say is you want to say yes, of course, but realistically you know that the answer is a no, because you're pacing, you don't want to overdo it, you don't want to crash, but because you don't want to let that person down, and because you don't want to come across like you're being you're not giving an opportunity. You say maybe. You say maybe I'll be there. I'd love to be there. Let me see how I'm feeling near the time. I really want to be able to come, which is all true. You want to be able to go, but you then spend the next 3 months with this date in your diary that you keep kind of measuring yourself against, and you spend that time in between worrying about, will it be too much? Will you crash? Should you go? Should you say no? What if you let them down? And then it gets closer and you bury your head in the sand. Then it gets to the point you've got to make a decision, and then you stress about it for 2 or 3 days. And then finally, you reach the point where you pluck up the courage and you call that person and you explain why it is that the answer is no and why you can't go. You knew that answer, although you didn't want it to be that answer, you probably knew that answer, several months previously. But because you want to be you don't want to let your friend down, and you want to believe you will be able to go, you said maybe. But the maybe means that you end up spending all of that time worrying and stressing about it, and it becomes this thing which is bigger than it should be. It doesn't justify the level of frustration and everything else that it's been causing. And my offering, my proposal, is being quicker to say no, even though no is not the answer you want to be giving. If you expect it's the answer you're going to get to, give a no, and then if a no becomes a yes, everyone, including you, is pleasantly surprised, and it's a wonderful position to be in. But you don't have to live with the uncertainty and the worrying about it and the frustration in the meantime. Now, I'm not saying that you just start saying no to everything that comes up. There'll be some things that really will be a maybe. It really will be that you're not sure how you're going to feel, and it's kind of okay if you do go or you don't go. You don't have to worry about it too much. So you wait and see what happens. But if it's one of these things which is a more involved, significant thing, and you know you're going to get to a no, or you're almost sure you're going to get to a no, you just don't like the consequences of the no and having to communicate the no, so you give the maybe, give the no. That's really what I'm saying. And another way to think about this is, if you're rating something, let's say someone invites you to something, and you think the likelihood of you being able to go is maybe it's a kind of, it's moderately kind of likely. It's a maybe, but a maybe to a no. Call it a no. If it's a tentative yes, then it's a maybe. And if it's an absolute yes, I'm going, then it's a yes. But then you don't carry the kind of the burden of the challenge and thing around it. And one of the things you've got to be thinking about is actually, I was watching a YouTube video where someone was talking about making decisions in life, and they were saying that often when someone, let's just other people. In fact, the context was interviewing people to come and work in a company, and they'd have people come and work on a trial. Then they'd ask all the other people that worked in the team to rate on a scale of 0 to 10 whether they wanted that person to come and join the company. And what they found was very often people gave a 7. 7's kind of like a maybe, right? Like a 7's kind of like, yeah, you know, it's diplomatic, I like this person, it's not offensive, it's not like a gushing, effusive, like this person's amazing, I want this person. It's a 7. It's kind of, you know, it's polite. And what they did was they said you can't use a 7. You've got to use an 8 or use a 6. And a 6 is kind of like a barely pass, right? I mean, a 6 is like, you know, 6 out of 10 is not a good result in a test. But an 8 is like, it's enthusiastic. And so there's something about moving away from kind of middle ground to force yourself to make decisions that takes away the anxiety and the not knowing and the worrying of not making a decision. And I think the way that you can map that to the recovery path is also thinking about things in your life which you're a kind of 7 out of 10 about whether you want to do. Like things that you've committed to, or friends that you're seeing, or things that are on your kind of calendar. They're kind of like a 7. They're kind of like, yeah, take it or leave it. And if you don't let yourself score those things with a 7, and you make them an 8 or a 6, it's a way of seeing where do you really want to spend your time? Like what actually is important? What do you actually want to be giving energy to? So the headline of this, of really what I'm saying in this video, is give yourself permission to say no. That it's often better to say no, to be clear with yourself that you're a 6 out of 10, not a 7 out of 10, and actually you don't really want to do it, and it's better to be straight about that. It's better to be a no than it is to be a maybe to other people for all the reasons that we talked about. Because I think the climax of what I'm trying to say here is when we say no to others, well, often what we do is we focus on the fact we're saying no to others. But when you say no to others, often what you're doing is you're saying yes to yourself. And that's what I'm really trying to encourage, is sometimes we have to say no to others to say yes to ourselves, because we used to say yes so much to others that we kept saying no to ourselves. And so if that's been the case, that pendulum has to swing where you have to take care of your own needs and your own body to support your own healing process. And of course that can bring up all kinds of stuff around feeling we're not worthy and thinking we're letting people down, and helper patterns and achiever patterns, and you know, that's all stuff that has to be understood and worked with. But fundamentally, if you're a maybe and it's really a no, own the no, because when you say no to others, often what you're doing is you're saying yes to yourself. And saying yes to yourself is a real support for the healing and recovery process. So hopefully that's been useful. I am trying to keep these really succinct and tight, because I think they're more helpful when they're like that. Sometimes I like to ramble, but I'm going to try and keep them a bit tighter. I am away next week, so there won't be a Facebook Live next week, but we will be back to usual business the week after. So thank you for watching. I hope that's been useful, and I will talk with you in a couple of weeks. Bye bye for now.